76.
76. What's your name?
Vladimir. I heard you were straight.
Can you take your glasses off so I can see?
Oh, yes,
you?
oh, fair enough.
Vladimir.
Yeah,
Vladimir is a Russian name?
That's right, but I'm only half Russian. My father's an Assyrian.
Ah, yeah.
There's a country that doesn't exist today, Assyria.
Yes.
And of course, my father was a Cossack, and I was born in Russia, but I lived only 28 years in China, Shanghai. And I said to myself, why didn't I come here earlier? Then my wife died, I came here, and I lived here, I'm living here. And I should have bought a house, but I didn't. So I sold my house in Warwick, and I decided, well, why shouldn't I buy a house? Because the kids all want money, so I gave them a little bit of money, and I kept a little bit for myself, and that's just to, to boost up my pension and put it that way.
Yeah.
I tell you what, this is the best. This is sunny Queensland. Don't everyone tell you to go to Queensland, because it's a fact. Honest to God, this is Queensland.
Tell me what you were doing in China.
Oh, Shanghai, I was working for Caltex. I was an outdoor shipping supervisor for Caltex. That's after the war. I was stranded there during the war with the Japanese occupations.
But how did you get there? Where were you living immediately before?
In Shanghai. Oh, what do you mean? I lived all my life in Shanghai. I came here in 1949.
How old were you when you left? I mean, you were born in Russia?
Only 1 year when I was left. With the communists, we had to get out.
Yes.
So I came to Shanghai in 1922. I can write a book, I know so much about China. Shanghai, and I was there from 1922 to 1949 when the communists came out to get out. So I ended up at Bathurst. I got the last ship out of Shanghai because the communists were already in Nanking.
Right.
So we had to go somewhere. So what happened, they put us in the Philippine Islands for 6 months. In the islands, little tents and all that sort of thing. They say, where you want to go? And I could go to a lot of countries. In Australia, and when I saw that big fellow country strong like I said, that's lovely, young country. So I ended up in Wollongong and worked for Anderson Mitres for 10 years. In 8 months I was a foreman, and they didn't like that bloody New Australian telling us what to do. Oh, I hated that, but I lived there, and all my kids are Australians.
But when you were in Shanghai, you were with your family?
With my wife.
With your wife?
And one child. Margaret Cusack, she's in Wollongong. She's married to Cusacks. They're graziers. She's the only daughter that's born in Shanghai. The rest are all born here. I got 4 daughters and a son. My son's here. He's been here 28 years. He plays in the band, George Jonan. He's all over the place here. And I love this place. I'm only sorry I didn't come earlier.
Now, what do you do here at 76? This is a resort town. But you're obviously enjoying it.
Yes, I do. I'm 76. I'm already retired.
So what do you do with your time?
I'll tell you what I do with my time. I have a hobby, 2 hobbies, gardening, but my main hobby is musical. I have hi-fi system, I make recording myself, I put a record there, and then it says, how come that's you singing with a band behind it? This band is only an ordinary record player without a singer. So I put in that. I love music. So that's my hobby, one of my hobbies.
What exactly do you do? Tell me again.
Where
the
from?
Music. In the music.
Music side of it? Okay. I've got this hi-fi system.
Right.
Kenwood. You know Kenwood?
Yes.
Every deck is $599. So I've got a whole system there. Then I tape the music that I love, because that's my hobby. I sing and I enjoy myself that way. That's one.
What
then
do
I
you
do
sing?
garden and cooking. Singing? You want to hear me sing?
Yeah, I want to sing.
What sort of song? You want to sing anything?
What do you sing?
Please release me and let me go, for I no longer love you anymore. They might think I'm crazy.
Can we have a little chat?
Oh,
I don't know
hello.
your face. But
Yes, I know your face.
What's your name?
I'm Kathy.
I'm Andrew.
Yes.
We've never met before. But
No, but I've seen you on telly lots of times.
Oh, have you?
Yes.
Oh, good. What are you doing? You're going home? You finished work?
I'm going back to work.
You're going back to work?
Yes.
What do you do?
I work at the French Chamber of Commerce here in Melbourne.
Interesting job?
Yeah, it's fairly new. I've only been there for about 3 weeks.
And what were you doing before?
Well, I was living in Canberra and I've only been down here in Melbourne for about 2 months, so I was looking for work when I came down here. And
Did you work in the French embassy in Canberra or somewhere?
No, I didn't. No, this is my first venture into the private sector. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You were in the public sector before?
Yeah, I was. I was working at university in Canberra at ANU.
Do you speak French?
Yes.
Fluently?
Not quite. Not as
quite.
much as I'd like. I'm a bit rusty.
But nearly fluently.
Nearly fluently, yeah.
And you will by the time you've finished a couple of months here.
Well, I hope so.
Do you get to
that's
use
the
it?
plan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, my 2 colleagues are French, and I deal with a lot of French people. So,
Yes.
yeah, I'm going to take some classes and get it back up to scratch again.
And you're over here on your own.
No, I'm here with my partner,
Oh, you have a man.
a man. Yes.
Yes. And where did you bring him with you?
He brought me with him actually.
Oh, so you've been going together for a while?
Yeah, 4 years, 4.5 years. Yeah.
What's his name?
Alex.
Alex. What does he do?
He's an honours student in cinema studies, so that's why we came down here to Melbourne, because he wanted to continue in cinema studies and there wasn't really an opportunity of doing that in Canberra, so he decided to come down here, and he's at La Trobe.
And what is he going to do when he finishes cinema studies?
Well, he's going to do more actually. He's honours at the moment and he wants to go on and do a master's or a PhD, but he's just going to see how things go and then maybe go into academia or whatever. He hasn't decided yet.
Tell me, do you live together?
Yeah.
But you're not married,
No.
and you're a modern couple. Is he a sensitive new age man?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Romantic and caring, and
Yeah.
he
is.
listens.
Yeah, he does. Oh, definitely. Absolutely.
How did you meet?
We met at a party through some mutual friends. Actually, neither of us knew that group of people very well, so it was kind of a real chance that we met, and we got on well, and
Straight away.
straight away, yeah. When we started our relationship, it was, it always takes a while to for the relationship to find its feet, but once we did that, it was fantastic, and we moved in together a year later, and we're still going.
Is there really a difference between your relationship and what you see in your parents?
I think so. There's, at least with my parents, I think there's more open communication that goes on. Yeah, it's what is it? It's just just that openness that
Less role
that is
playing,
there.
less sort of concepts of what people's roles are in a relationship?
Maybe to us the roles are more obvious because we've both studied, well, Alex has studied quite a lot of women's studies and gender studies, and I've done a bit of that too, and I think if we're both very conscious of when we start falling into what the man does and what the woman does and that kind of thing, and we talk about it, and so I think that's quite interesting.
And how does that play out in the real world, in the everyday real world of washing and washing up and domestic things and, shopping and all that?
It means that that I get quite annoyed if I feel like I'm doing more than my share, and I just make that understood, and we talk about it, and
What is it always that he doesn't do enough of?
Cooking, because he doesn't really like it. He tends to, it's quite good actually, we have a good division of labour in that he chops all the veggies and all that kind of thing, and then I actually do the stirring, putting together, adjusting ingredients, all that kind of thing.
He's the sous chef.
Yes, he is, but I tend to feel that I end up doing a little bit more. So it's something that periodically comes up, and we talk about it.
Familiarity breeds contempt. Is he still attentive and romantic, and does he make you feel good?
Oh yeah, he does. Yeah. Not in the candlelight and red roses and champagne way, because we've never had that much money, but but in all the ways that count, he does.
Do you celebrate, your meeting, or is there anything that you celebrate?
We do. We celebrate our anniversary, and we go out for dinner and have a bottle of wine, and
And that's it?
Yeah, usually.
That's a special occasion.
Yeah.
There's nothing.
Actually, this year I forgot, and I got in such trouble. It was really awful. I actually remembered when it was, because I came home and it was like a normal day, and I was just being my normal self, and he was really grumpy, and I thought, oh, what's going on? What have I done? And I went down to the supermarket to get some things for dinner, and I bumped into an old friend there who I hadn't seen for years, and she asked me about my boyfriend, and it was da-da-da-da-da, and I was telling her all that, and then I went, oh shit, it's our anniversary today, and so I quickly bought a bottle of wine and raced home, and and I was forgiven after
a while.
20 minutes or so.
We're doing a series of documentaries for SBS, It's called Front Up, and we just go around Australia meeting people at random. We just thought we'd meet you if you had the time, but
I really don't.
you don't have the time. But can I ask you why you're carrying a picture of a lot of naked bottoms?
That's my daughter's cat for art, year 12.
Oh,
And it's just been copied onto material, and it will be mounted on a seat, which is where bottoms reside.
that's very good. What is your name?
Pakes,
Nice to
P-A-K-E-S.
meet you.
Okay.
Thanks. Hi there.
Hello.
My name's Andrew.
Hello,
What's
Andrew.
your name?
Mark.
Mark. Where are you from?
I'm from here, locally, just up Elizabeth Way. Yeah.
You're in Adelaide? Oh,
Yes,
Elizabeth.
Adelaide.
Oh, yeah. Well, I've never been to Elizabeth. What's Elizabeth like?
Yeah. Yeah, it's all right, but you know, every place has got their ups
Yeah.
and their downs.
Yeah. Do you work there?
No, I'm currently unemployed.
Yeah. Have you had a job there?
Yeah, I've had a couple jobs up that way.
What sort of things were you doing?
I was a bit of supermarket work.
Right.
Carpet laying.
Right.
Just basically odd jobs here and there. A bit whimsical right now. Yeah.
You happy doing nothing for a minute?
Oh, well, I'm actually taking a bit of a break from school as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've just like spent the past 6 months going, you know,
Yeah.
yeah, but I'm returning to school next year, so
What are you going to study?
finish year 12
Yeah.
then.
How old are you now?
I'm 20.
And your family's back in Elizabeth?
No, my family's spread all around the state.
Are they?
Yeah.
So you live alone?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. How do you manage okay?
Yes, I manage fine.
So your family's scattered around everywhere.
Yes.
Do you see them? Do you keep in touch with them at all?
Not really. We've all like, had our differences, had our spats, and
Have
just
you?
with time, yeah.
Yeah. With everybody?
Um,
Mum, dad?
yeah, with mum and dad, yes.
Are they together?
No, they divorced about 10 years ago.
Right. And you stayed with?
I stayed with my mum.
Yeah.
Then I moved out of my mum's place and moved in with my dad for a couple months.
Yeah.
Then from there, moved out by myself.
The spats you had with your mum and dad?
Yes.
Were they about important things? Were they?
Oh, yeah, I guess you could say important.
Yeah. Important to you?
Yes, well, my mother was like religious differences.
Yeah.
Like she had her religion, and I said, look, I'm agnostic myself. I don't want anything to do with the religion.
And that upset her. She wanted you to be
Yeah, she
involved?
said, yeah.
Yeah.
And I said, look, I really don't want that type of thing.
Yeah. And did that become a pressure on you?
Yes.
Yeah. Is your dad the same religion?
No, my dad's non-religious. He was more so pushing me to go for the armed forces.
Uh-huh.
And I said, look, I really don't want to join the armed forces.
Right. You were getting pushed in two different directions.
Yes.
And you feel better having left than being on your own?
Oh, yes, yeah. It's like giving me, like a chance to discover myself, what I really want in life.
I'm starting to spit with rain. Why don't we get undercover for a minute?
Okay.
I've forgotten your name, I'm sorry.
Mark.
Mark.
You're not from Front Up, are you?
Yes, Front Up is the name of the program. You get it in Elizabeth. Come in
Yes,
to the shade
yes.
for a bit. I see. So you watch television?
Yes, I enjoy
Sometimes.
SBS.
Yeah. And what else do you do too? What else do you like doing?
I mainly like to read and write.
What sort of reading and what sort of writing?
A bit of a science fiction, esoteric type genre.
Yeah.
But I would like to write a comic book one day.
As in illustrated comic book?
Yes.
Uh-huh. You draw?
No, not draw. Like I said, just write it and have somebody else go, and draw along for it.
Do you have a special lady in your life?
No, not yet. I'm still looking.
You're
so
looking.
if anyone's out there, I'm available.
Well, what would you like to advertise about yourself? What can we expect? Or what can she expect? Miss Wright.
I don't know. Intelligent person, someone good for a laugh, good for a chat.
Hello.
Hello. Good afternoon, Terrace Garden Restaurant. This is Tania.
Now, Tania.
Yes.
You've just finished work.
Yes.
And you're going to go home. Mm-hmm. Can we come?
Yes, certainly. You're very welcome.
All right. Now, we heard from, we met your boyfriend,
Husband?
Andreas.
Yes,
your husband.
Yes, husband, that's right.
Your husband. I didn't know he was
Yes, we're married.
Okay. And he said that you worked here, so
That's
we've
right.
tracked you down here. But he's at home waiting to go to work, isn't
That's
he?
right, yes, he is, yes.
So why don't we go and chat to both of you?
Terrific.
All right?
Mm.
All right. You're back in Skivers.
That's right.
This is the real you.
This is the real me.
All right. Well, you have your car parked here, right?
That's right,
Okay,
yes.
well, let's go and get your car. Here we
Great.
go. Now, which one are we
On the
on?
4th floor.
Fourth floor, okay. And Andreas knows we're coming?
Yes, he does.
Fish tank.
Do you have?
Sorry, yes.
Well,
I shouldn't have done that.
how are you?
Good to see you again. How are you?
Thank you very much for letting into your house. I was just trying
it's
to
full
look.
as well. I just go and turn off the water.
Okay. How long have you lived here?
A year and a half now in this house.
Yes, yes.
In Adelaide, 2.5 years in
Right.
total. And then before that was in England.
Tell us the story of how you met, because you're from Germany.
That's
I
right.
am, yes.
Yes, and you're from
I'm from Australia, Victoria, and a
From
little
Victoria.
country town called Swan Hill.
right.
Well, I suppose it sort of begins with me, really. I went overseas with my whole family. My sister, my brother, and my mother and father went to England, and we toured through Europe. And we got English relatives there. And one of the stops was in Germany at a hotel called the Wildermann. And Andreas was waiter at the Wildermann, and he was the only person who could speak English. And being 20 years old, and I wanted to go out and see the town, I asked directions. And I thought he was quite nice, so I asked him out to come out with us. And about for 3 months we wrote to each other while I was touring around Europe, and he decided we wanted to meet again. So we met again, and
Where was that?
in England. He flew over to London, first flight he took.
Yes.
And then he proposed to me on the second day at the Hard Rock Cafe in London.
Didn't waste any time.
No.
When you got to the you met him at the airport.
That's right, yes. Yes, I met him
And
at the airport. And
how did you feel when you saw him again then?
it was great, wonderful feeling. I think when they say that saying love is at first sight, which is a terrible cliche, you think, no, that doesn't happen. But it did happen for us.
It was a funny time when we met, because I was just about to move out of home, and I moved to Aschaffenburg, close to the place where I used to work for. And when I firstly met Tania, I already had moved out, and Tania wrote a letter to my family to introduce herself and to stress her serious feelings for our relationship. And then my mother read this letter, and she basically broke out in tears, and she said, I want to meet this girl. And
She broke out in tears of joy or confusion.
It was sadness too, even.
Yes, a little bit of sadness, because my mother always has told me that she had the feeling that I would leave Germany at one stage. And after I met Tania, and she stressed her feelings for myself, she knew that this was going to happen at one stage. And I think it was a little bit of feelings of joy she was very happy for us, and she fell straight away in love with Tania as well. And I told my mum that I would like to propose to Tania in London, the second visit. And she said, well, do that, but I would like you to get engaged here in front of our Christmas tree. So it was the 24th of December, which is basically the day they celebrate in Germany for Christmas Eve. We went to the lounge room, unwrapped our presents, and then Tania and I announced our engagement. And
Formally?
Yes.
Very formally, yes. It was a little bit strange, because not many members of my family are able to speak English very well. So we had to translate backwards and forwards to really announce what we are planning to do at this stage. In Germany we don't have diamond rings. We have these plain engagement rings, and the male plus the female are wearing the same ring, and you basically are supposed to carry these rings through to your wedding and wear them throughout your whole life together.
Right. So that becomes the wedding ring.
That's right.
It does, yes, because it's basically supposed to, from the day you promise yourselves to be with each other for your whole life, this is the day this ring takes over the responsibility of representing the circle of your lives together.
What was the wedding like, and where was it?
Yeah, well, we had 2 weddings.
2 weddings?
We did. We had one in Germany first, and then the one in Australia when we came back to Australia.
And both were full weddings?
Yes, both were full weddings. The first wedding Andreas' family paid for, because obviously we were in Germany, and the second wedding my parents did.
You realise that people think you're greedy, having 2 weddings, 2
I know.
honeymoons.
Well, many people might think that it is only because of the presents, but it was very important for us to have a second wedding here in Australia, as well as in Germany. Tania's relatives have only had a limited possibility to come over and be part of our wedding. So we had our relatives from England coming over, of course my parents-in-law, and they have been really very supportive of our whole relationship throughout, from the day go. And then we celebrated there, which was it was very interesting because of the multicultural sort of influence. You know, most of my German guests, our German guests, couldn't speak English, but somehow throughout the day they managed to communicate with each other. And if it wasn't through words, they communicated with gestures. and just if it is like cheers or whatever, but they managed to become friends.
Did you have a boyfriend before?
Previous, yes, I did. I'd a 5-year relationship, so I was 16 when I started going out with him, and I broke the relationship on the day that we flew off to go to England. So it was a week before I actually met Andreas, and that was a bad relationship that I shouldn't have been in, but you don't listen to your parents when you're 16.
It was a bad relationship.
Yeah,
for
bad
you.
relationship for me, yeah. When I look in hindsight, when a parent tells you that relationship's no good, you never listen, so you get headstrong. And at that stage, where I come from is a town where there's fast cars and the popular boys. It doesn't matter what they're like, you just go out with them.
Yeah.
So I was not like that for a while, but then I woke up to what it was all about.
I did have a girlfriend before Tania as well. I had my first real girlfriend at the age of 19, so that was a year before I met Tania. And yeah, it was just one of these school-work relationships. I left year 13 when I decided to become a professional waiter, started to study hospitality, and she followed me from school to this hotel where I used to pass my apprenticeship, and we started to have a relationship, but it absolutely didn't work out because I started to do competitive waiting as well, and it was just a clash of personalities. She didn't want me to practice competitive waiting or be very successful in my job. She wanted to have all the time to herself. So in the end, it's ended up with a big clash, and I just said, well, no, goodbye. And
not in those words.
In those words, yes.
You said, well, goodbye.
Yes. 4 months later, I met Tania, and
was it instant for you?
I think it was more instant for me than it was for her. It was funny. It was a very historical hotel. I might be able to show you some pictures later. And you come down this little hallway, and there's this very traditional door. It's about 600 years old. It is covered in old fish paintings, as it is a fisherman's area at the River Main. And she walked through, and at this stage she had still this very short hair, like a flat top.
Yeah.
And I just looked at her in a bar, and it was basically it. And I happened to get her table. I was actually called in this day to take over from my head waiter, as he called in sick. And if he wouldn't have been sick, I wouldn't have been there this day.
So we wouldn't have met.
And I managed to serve this bus group, and then I served her all night. And she came back, asked me to come out, and they waited for me 2.5 or 3 hours until I was able to finish work. And I mean, from that moment on, I was gone.
I saw Kat wandering around
That's
here.
That's right, yes.
And you say she's about to have kittens?
She is.
Like, what's the pussycat's name?
Minka.
Come and say hello, Minka. How many kittens are you going to have?
Well, it looks like about 4 or 5 at this stage. We haven't really been to a vet at this stage.
She's very small.
Yeah,
I think she's afraid of cameras as well.
Now, is there somewhere in the house that's going to serve as a nursery sometime in the future?
No. We're only young.
Well,
one day maybe, but we haven't thought about it. We're very much, the cat and dog are a handful as it is.
Right.
We both are of the opinion that when you have babies on your own, I mean, we've only just grown up ourselves, and we're still in the process of doing so.
Yes.
So, I mean, when you have kids, I think there should be a basic and a very stable basis for kids. So we are trying to have our careers first, especially for a mum. It's very important to have a career, so the lady has got something to go back to, and that's not very often the case.
Yes.
And I think even, well, you see so many single mums, they have
Yes.
been 17, 18 years old, and they haven't really learned a profession or haven't studied anything, and they find it very difficult to earn a living for
Yes.
themselves and their child. And she definitely won't be a single mum, toy, I hope. And but she will have something to go back to, and that's her career.
Are you evenly matched in temperament, do you think?
Pretty well, yes. Yeah, we're pretty calm at most times, and then we do have our moments, and we both get fired up, and we're passionate about things. So.
I think we're very even-tempered, whereas I have to say that Tania and her family have been the best influence I've ever had in my life, because they are much more in self-control, and they're much calmer than my background is. Like, for example, my background in Germany, we wouldn't discuss matters too much. It would rather look like an argument, and 5 minutes later everybody feels guilty. Whereas Tania and Tania's side of the family, they are very prepared to sit down with you, and you have a conversation about certain things, and you're being given advice, not a command.
So she brought
A very happy calmness into my life, yes. And it's something that taught me a lot, especially the last 3 years. I would say, especially after we've arrived in Australia, we both had the same basis here in Adelaide. None of us knew anybody here in Adelaide. That's why we chose Adelaide, actually. And we had a fair start, so we had to basically being able to confront each other and talk to each other and help each other. And I think that's been a very good lesson for the both of us.
It was lucky that guy got sick that night.
Yes.